ऐसे मुंह फुला के बैठा रहता है, किसी से बात नहीं करता है।
तो वास्तु पे थोड़ा सा डाउट था, तो वो जगह चेंज करने के बाद उस पे कोई थॉट आपने दिया था बाद में?
Definitely that today I'm talking to you to 1,000 people in front of you. I always used to sit in a corner, not talking to people.
तो उस टाइम पे जब आपने उसको स्टार्ट किया तो वो हिम्मत आपको कहाँ से मिलती थी कि जहाँ पे आपको एक बड़ा एम्पायर बनाना है, एक बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनाना?
I would say that spirituality or maybe something like कि भाई ये थोड़ा जगह अच्छा नहीं है, यहाँ का प्रॉब्लम है वगैरह. It was not about us, but it is about when you were in childhood, it was about something else that we played.
So Kandarp Bhatt, founder of Gilles Web. Kandarpbhai, before we enter into a candid talk, अपने एक candid talk डिटेल में, मतलब कुछ स्टोरीज की जो बिहाइंड द सीन एज अ आईटी एक्सपर्ट है, आईटी कंपनी ओनर के हिसाब से आपकी जो बिहाइंड द सीन स्टोरीज है उसको डिस्कस करेंगे. आई हैव गॉट लॉट ऑफ क्वेश्चंस टू आस्क यू. सो कंदरभाई, बिफोर वी एंटर इनटू द कैंडिड टॉक मतलब आपकी जो जर्नी है, आपकी जो आज तक की एक जर्नी रही है एज अ आईटी एक्सपर्ट या फिर एक एज अ सक्सेसफुल बिजनेस ओनर, उसको बिहाइंड द सीन अपने डिस्कस करें. उससे पहले आई वांट टू स्टार्ट विद अ रैपिड फायर राउंड, और आपका इंट्रोडक्शन एक रैपिड फायर राउंड में लेते हैं, ठीक है? तो आर यू रेडी?
Yes.
ओके, चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. नाम बताओ जैसे दोस्तों को बताते हो.
Candy.
कैंडी. गांव के हो या शहर के?
शहर से.
स्कूल के टाइम का फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट?
Craft, art and craft.
आर्ट एंड क्राफ्ट. कॉलेज में पढ़ाई या दोस्ती?
दोस्ती.
बचपन का सपना बिजनेसमैन बनना था या कुछ और?
बिजनेसमैन बनना तो नहीं था, पर डेफिनेटली वांटेड टू लीड a team of a larger organization.
ओके. एक वर्ड में डिस्क्राइब करो अपने आप को.
Optimist.
ऑप्टिमिस्ट. मॉर्निंग पर्सन हो या रात का उल्लू?
रात का उल्लू.
फोन के अलावा एक चीज जो हमेशा साथ होती है?
Optimism.
कोई एक सॉन्ग या कोट जो हमेशा मोटिवेट करता है?
मधुबन खुशबू देता है.
चाय, कॉफी या कुछ थोड़ा स्ट्रांग?
दोनों और दोनों स्ट्रॉन्ग.
वो एक सपना जो अभी भी आपको सोने नहीं देता?
Wanted to make a difference in the life of people.
Super. So Kandarpbhai, now after this rapid round of introduction, अभी आगे बढ़ते हैं and let us enter into the discussion कि जहाँ पे बहुत सारी ऐसी स्टोरीज की जो बहुत सारे नए एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को इंस्पायर करेगी. एंड आई एम श्योर कि जैसे आपने बताया कि बहुत सारे लोगों की लाइफ को इम्पैक्ट करना, मतलब लोगों की लाइफ में कहीं ना कहीं कुछ बदलाव आना चाहिए, इन्हांसमेंट होनी चाहिए, है ना? तो आई एम श्योर कि ये जर्नी से, ये स्टोरी से we will be able to contribute and we will be able to change some of the lives. Okay, चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं कंदर भाई. एंड आई रियली वांट टू स्टार्ट विथ योर बैकग्राउंड. आपके बैकग्राउंड के बारे में बताइए, आपका कॉलेज डेज के बारे में बताइए, आपका जो फैमिली बैकग्राउंड है उसके बारे में बताइए.
And first of all, thank you. Before I tell you about my background, thank you for inviting
It is a pleasure,
into this Candid talk show organized by DS Global. I think I've seen the previous, Candid talks and shows, and it was so fascinating to learn about how, people are doing different things, making changes, like trying to solve the problems that are unsolved. तो बहुत अच्छा काम करते हैं. and it's privilege to be a part of this talk. अगर मेरे बारे में कुछ बताऊं तो बचपन से शुरू करते हैं. That's chronology order.
Yes.
I used to be a very shy person. तो कभी भी कहीं पे भी कोई भी पब्लिक गैदरिंग्स में जाते हैं, कहीं रिलेटिव के साथ जाते हैं, तो I always used to sit in a corner, not talking to people, not looking at
कोई इंट्रोवर्ट?
introvert type, ऐसा हम बता सकते. And kind of thing. But apart from this, I always used to be someone who will never, like, apart from public speaking, when I'm alone, when I'm with my friends or like with my sister, I think I would be always doing something kind of thing. But then I think due to the changes in the life, the challenges that I faced, there was a certain occasions where I had to change my personality. I've seen that transformation myself. So, but I think that's how my childhood was. I've never been a good, I would say, student. Means in terms of not, I was not a naughty student, but जहाँ पे बहुत अच्छे अच्छे ग्रेड आए या टॉप 3 में हमारा नंबर हो. So I have been an very average educational career that I had. But apart from this, I have lived my childhood. मुझे लगता है आजकल के जो जेन जी की लाइफ देखता हूँ और जो हमारी लाइफ हमने देखी है, there is a difference between that. So, but I'm happy. I'm happy to be the part of a family. उसी से हम थोड़ा फैमिली के बारे में भी जानते हैं.
बिल्कुल.
So when I was a kid, I spent a lot of time with my grandfather and mother because they used to live with us, and we were fortunate about it. My grandfather was Mamlatdar.
Mamlatdar, yes.
He was at his age, he was like gold medalist in his education and that thing, and he has so much of wisdom and the honesty that he has transferred in our thing. So that was very fortunate part that I could probably spend maybe around 10 years of my childhood life with him. Obviously after that as well, but वो जो childhood के अंदर जो बीज बोना जो बोलते हैं वो I think that's done right in my case. My grandmother was very hard worker. She worked for she has made sure that her kids are getting a good education and all. She was an housemaker, so the hard working is something that we have inherited from that. As far as my father and mother is concerned, all the management skills that I have developed over the years, people say that it comes from the genes of my mother because she was a really good manager in terms of managing the house, education, relationship with the relatives and community kind of thing and everything. So she was a really good manager. That's how we. And as far as the empathy part is concerned, that's a blend that I got from my father. He used to work for dyes and chemical industry for 40 years. Worked for a bigger organization like Metrochem, Megma. He retired as a general manager. But I think even today, all the people that were reporting to them, all the bosses that he was reporting to, I see those relationships even if he's at the age of 77 now. But I see that most of his days goes talking to these people, helping them getting jobs, solving some problems in the business life and everything. So, but I think the root of this entire thing is the empathy which I have inherited in my leadership style. So, and I think, like I mentioned about the introvert to the extrovert, is my sister that always been, taunting me in the childhood that क्या ऐसे मुंह फुला के बैठा रहता है, किसी से बात नहीं करता है, right? So I remember that back in 2015 when I was invited as a speaker in one of conference, and I mentioned in that speakership opportunity as well,
right,
that today I'm talking to you, 1,000 people in front of you, and you see that I'm confident on this day. But I shared this story that I used to be an introvert personality. But I think my sister always with me on my good and bad times in the education as well as professional life. After that, I got married to a beautiful wife, and I have 2 kids. My elder daughter is in 12th grade now, and my son is in 8th standard. So pretty happy family. Very proud to be the part of this family, and it's the family that I work for. So that's about me.
सुपर. अभी अपने बैकग्राउंड के बारे में चीजें बताई. कहीं ना कहीं आई वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हाउ इट वाज ऑल स्टार्टेड. इफ सपोज वी टॉक अबाउट जिलस वेब, तो जिलस वेब की शुरुआत कैसे हुई और क्या आइडिया था क्या वो इवेंट था जिसकी वजह से आपने जीलस वेब को स्टार्ट
So, like I said, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur, or I would say owner of a business, because I don't think that the entrepreneur is only the people who owns the business, but anybody who takes an ownership of any task is an entrepreneur in my. So, I always had a dream to, because I have seen myself, my father, working and leading a team of larger organization. I always wanted to be like him. So I had a dream to work for a company and make that company so big that it looks like that I am the key person, or maybe a change maker is in the company. But I think life has something different that it wants for me, and there was an occasion where I had to take a decision about quitting my job. So I had worked for an organization for 1.5 years. Then I had to quit the job and completely change from IT to the another business background, and that was the chemical line which my father used to work for.
Okay.
Pretty in 6 months' time, I figured it out that it is nothing about me. It's more about my father, his relationship, and his influence. That probably people would treat me like वही ये बट साफ person है इस वही ये कर दो वो कर दो. So I found that they were also trying to take some advantages of this, help that they are making in shaping my career. So one day I went to my father and said that, honestly speaking, something that I'm going to discuss now is not going to make you happy. But I think I might wanted to quit this industry and I might do something else, but not this. And you won't believe, but my father was even more proud about that fact, because the reason for quitting the job was about building my own identity compared to being dependent on him or his connection and everything. And then he said that do whatever you want and let me know what you want to do. I went back to my original employer, whom I used to work with,
right?
And it used to call R&D Informa, but now they have rebranded as ReadySwim. And I asked him, sir, what should I do now? Like, should I join that company again, or should I continue with this chemical business, or maybe kind of thing? And then he said that working with you 1.5 years I have observed that you are more of a people person than a individual contributor on a technology side. So उन्होंने ही मुझे ये सजेशन दिया कि I think you have a potential to build an organization around, and you won't believe, but I think this is very rare. But when somebody starts their own venture, which is of a similar kind of an industry, usually your previous employer would be reluctant about, skeptical about the things, which is like a competition or something. But my office inauguration was done by him. Wow. And not just limited there, but I was not coming from a business background. So I'm coming from a Brahmin family which is known for either teaching people or maybe working in some banks or something like that. So I don't have a business in my blood. So I had to learn it by, making mistakes and everything. But my boss has made sure that my initial journey, usually you get demotivated by setbacks, that 6 months to 12 months he has educated me on everything. Like he helped me on how do we work with international client, how do we get payments, what is the importance of quality. So every time I get stuck, my boss is always there to help me, and that's something which I cherish for even after 21 years. That today, even if we met in any conference, we will be standing talking to each other for 2 hours, where objective of the conference or maybe exhibition is to get new clients. But when we see each other, we would be sharing our, and we meet once or twice in a year. But I think kind of thing. So that's how it all started. And then once I started working with clients, they wanted to work more projects and everything. That's why I had to build the team. So now I think that's pretty much story about the Zealous Web, why we wanted to be in this business now.
सुपर कंदर भाई, मैंने आपको 2 सवाल पूछे. पहला सवाल था जहाँ पे अपने बैकग्राउंड के बारे में बात करी, आपने चाइल्डहुड के बारे में बात करी, आपने फैमिली के बारे में बात करी, और दूसरा जो है कि जहाँ पे आपने जीलस वेब जो है उसकी शुरुआत कैसे करी. अब कहीं ना कहीं हम जब फैमिली वैल्यूज की बात कर रहे हैं तो आपके दादाजी और आपके माता पिता जो है उन्होंने आपको वो एक वैल्यूज जो है वो दिया है, एक फैमिली से जो आप एक इनहेरेंटली चीजें मिलती है। अब वो पर्टिकुलर चीज जहाँ पे आप अभी एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को लीड करते हो, तो उसमें आपको वो वैल्यूज का क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है और कैसे वो यूजफुल होती है आज की डेट में।
So one of the things that I got is that my my grandfather used to say this to me is that परिश्रम न कोई पर्याय नहीं। So or I would say that विकल्प जो बात करिए, most of the life I have seen in my family is that everyone is hard. They are smart people. And this is a myth that people are smart, they don't need to work hard. That's a myth.
That's a myth. Yes.
Smartness is something that you need in order to make sure that you differentiate yourself from others, but you have to work hard. Right? So that hard working is something that I have inherited, and you won't believe it. It's 21 years now into business, it's still bootstrap. There is no investment, there is no loans that is being taken. It's all like, whatever we are earned and we have grown organic. And in order to do this, I think you should put an hard work on that. And if I relate this hard working, it's not just the leadership thing. Today, if I talk about 150 people that work with, they always, they never find themselves, you will not find them. They will be back off when it's something that they need to stay maybe longer for solving an issue, or maybe to make sure that client is happy until the final website or application is launched. So I think that is something which I found is helping us a lot in our day-to-day business life. So that's pretty much, yeah.
सुपर। कंदर भाई, जिलस वेब की जब शुरुआत हुई थी तब वो एक छोटी सी जगह से आपने शुरुआत करी थी, उसको एक छोटी सी टीम के साथ, और उस टाइम पे और आज का आपका जो डिफरेंस है, बट उस टाइम पे जब आपने उसको स्टार्ट किया तो वो हिम्मत आपको कहाँ से मिलती थी कि जहाँ पे आपको एक बड़ा एम्पायर बनाना है, एक बड़ा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बनाना?
बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग सवाल है और इसके पीछे बहुत अच्छी स्टोरी भी है. I will start with something where we started. So when we started this business, as you know that I was learning how to, be an owner of every aspect of a business. And that's where I think when we started with a small rented office on Ashram Road. And for the first 6 months, we haven't got any business. We got a lot of inquiry, but I was not knowing how to close that leads and how to work on those proposals that, covers everything and everything. So for the first 6 months, there was no business. So at that point of time, we were thinking that are we going in the right direction? Should we continue this business, or we should just go back to the, and do some job and kind of thing. And that's when I think we blamed. So we had a little bit of, I would say that spirituality, or maybe something like कि भाई ये थोड़ा जगह अच्छा नहीं है, यहाँ का problem है वगैरह है. It was not about us, but it is about when we were in childhood, it was about something else that we blame. So what we decided is let's change the maybe workplace that we are working on. So we moved from Ashram Road to the 100-feet road office, and I think on that particular day, we were not looking for a particular square foot area or maybe, but we have done the research that on which, where the most businesses are successful in terms of everybody is working here as successful kind of business. That kind of a research done. And then we went there, and we even paid higher rent than what we were paying. There was no business in hire. There was around 30,000 rupees in my bank account to make sure that I pay my bills for next 3 months or something like that. Then one day, one client from Austria that came, he wanted to be partner with him, and that's where he has told me, he was knowing that I am a startup here. He was like 10 years experienced businessman in Austria. So he has already shown me the dreams about, what is a big organization and kind of thing. There should be coffee machines around.
Hmm.
People should be having areas to play with and freedom and everything. So he has already set those, thought leadership about, managing the teams and everything. But then I think ultimately it was me who has to take care of the operations, and I hired few people, wherein they were mainly into the animation and kind of thing. So, and obviously that salary was like something that more than what I was taking home as my own expenses to contribute to the family.
Right.
So, but all of a sudden, after 3 months, there was some fundamental disagreement between myself and the counterpart in Austria. And then he said that, okay, we are not working. And I hired that person for that project. Now, I had two options. Either I let go that particular employee, who was the first employee of Zero Seven, say that, either I say that आपको पगार नहीं मिलेगा अभी आएगा तो मिलेगा kind of thing. So one day I went with him. In the morning I had a conversation with this client, and then in the evening we went to the coffee shop, which was very same building that we were working from. And I said that, see, and he was actually doing a job. He was studying, and he has to pay his fees, right? So I said that, see, you are working part-time because you have to pay your for the studies, and the client who has hired is no longer with us. So I think you have two options. One is that you probably go out and work for another organization. I can probably recommend you because I know you are a good guy. Your purpose I know about working. And the another thing is that you probably stay with me, for an example. So that was not an actually option. And I said that otherwise you figure it out what you can do, but I can make you connections. And unexpectedly, the reply from that employee was that, actually, sir, I wanted to give it a try for another 3 months. And I said that, honestly speaking, I don't have money today. So you are just wasting your time. He said that in 3 months of working, what I have observed is that you are hardworking, because at that time probably I was working 18 hours a day, figuring it out, giving all mine. So he said that I have a trust on your workmanship, right, and kind of thing, and let's do it together. And that was the moment where I thought like, कि लाइफ में एक ही चीज होती है जो आपको रोकती है, वो है फेलियर, राइट? और वो फेलियर में अगर आपके ऊपर कोई कॉन्फिडेंस दिखाता है, राइट, that makes a huge difference. At that point of time, I decided that one day I'm going to live the life that I have been, shown hypothetically by the partner, even though he was not my partner at that point of time. But I decided that now I will one day make sure that I live this life. And fortunately, I think we got a project 15 days only after this conversation. And the moment I got the project, I was not happy about the thing, but normally it was like in advance. So when the advance received in our bank account, I told that guy that पहले 3 महीने की तुम salary ले लो, ताकि I don't know what will happen there. But it was a good conversation. But at that moment, I feel that when you fail, probably if there is someone who is behind you, and that is your team, I think that's something that has inspired and thought that let's make it bigger.
तो आपने वो ब्लेम की एक बात करी कि कहीं ना कहीं आपको वास्तु पे थोड़ा सा डाउट था, तो वो जगह चेंज करने के बाद उस पर कोई थॉट आपने दिया था बाद में?
डेफिनेटली वो जगह पूरी जगह ऐसी, और आज भी आप देख लीजिए 100 फीट रोड जो हमारा जाना जाता है, वो जो पूरा लाइन है जहाँ पे अभी आयकर भवन बनाया गया है, I think that place has something where every business has grown. So we were there for 3 years. And after 3 years, we were able to generate so much of business that we could we have bought our first office back in 2006. 2003 when we started, and 2006 is when we purchased. So I definitely say that it's not about Vastu. I would say that it's about superpower.
Yeah, it is about belief.
Belief and the superpower, but I think it has worked for us. Yeah.
Super. जब आपको लगा कि सब कुछ मुश्किल है ना, और आपको ऐसा लगता था कि अब ये आगे नहीं बढ़ेगी चीजें, तब आप आपका कौन सा वो एक आपका बिलीफ था या वो आपका एक वो चीज थी जिसने आपको रुकने नहीं दिया?
So I have a case study that I can probably share with this. So when we moved to the new location, we started getting projects after that. So our first international project was from Australia, and that was a company into providing car hire services. So and they were working with one of the biggest brand in Australia, and they were not getting return on their investment, so they wanted to hire another agency. When they hired us, it was like pretty much we do not have any portfolio. So they said that you are saying that you can do this and that, and we believe from our conversation that you can do it, but you don't have something to show us in the similar case study that you might have saw. And this is pretty typical in any business that people wanted to see kind of thing. Nobody wanted to work with startups. So in that we had a terms and conditions. So usually I said that you pay me only after you get the results. So that's the only way I had left to get take that opportunity. And it was not just a small assignment; it was a 6-month contract that we were talking about, which means that I will be getting paid for 6 months. And I think the resources required was not just one or two people; it is a team that I need to be there. So we took this project with the terms and condition where it says that you pay only after getting results. We get into the project. It has been 4 to 5 months. There was nothing changed in that particular project. And one day I receive a call from the client saying that, see, it's not about money. It's about our time that is you're wasting as well. And I think it's been 4 months. We are not getting inquiry. It's not possible for us to sustain like this. So we might wanted to change. And I think before we had a contract of a 6 month, it's our moral responsibility to check with you. And I said that, see, there is one more Google crawling that it was more about digital marketing project. And one more crawling is left. I'm talking about back in 2004. Google used to crawl every 15 days, 21 days,
Right.
once in a kind of thing. And I said that one more crawling is left, and let's see how it goes. They said, okay, it's about 2, 3 more weeks. Let's wait for it. 2 days later, I got an email from the client saying that, have you made any changes to the website recently? And I said, no, I think there is nothing. So that he said that we got around 20 plus bookings in a single day. And I said that, okay, let me check. Well, let me figure it out. And I went and see that there was a hike in the organic traffic. And then I run a ranking report for all the targeted keywords. And there was around 140 different keywords that were ranked in Google on the top 3 position. And at that point of time, I just submitted that report. I think this is the reason why we got these 20 bookings in a one day. And the reply that they have given is that we wanted to sign a contract for 1 year now.
Wow.
And with the payment that they said that send us the bank details, we wanted to pay the entire payment for 6 months and kind of. I think this was the, like, to answer your question, is that at the 5th one, when clients say that, do you still want to do it, right? I think the previous example that I have shared is that having trust on your ability, something that is stick to your basic, having trust that you can do it, I think that makes a huge difference most of the time. And that was us. So it was just about, trust. ऐसा नहीं था कि भी 2 week के बाद जाने ही वाला है तो अभी भी जाना है. But I was pretty much confident because I have been closely observing that entire pattern. And honestly speaking, that project, we were able to survive for 6 years. And digital marketing project, which is costing around $15,000, per 6 months, or kind of at that point of time, was considered to be the huge commitment. And you have to give ROI to the client to get this. But I think that's it. So I would say that keep trusting yourself and stick to the basic. I think it always motivates you to keep going.
सुपर. कंदर भाई, आपने शुरू में एम्पैथी की बात करी एंड मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि आपका जो लीडरशिप स्टाइल है वो काफ़ी यूनिक है ना? और जो इनोवेशन और एम्पैथी का जो कॉम्बिनेशन आप करते हो, है ना, तो ये एक परफेक्ट ब्लेंड है, ये एक परफेक्ट मैच है। अब ये समझना है मुझे कि आप इसको बैलेंस कैसे करते हो व्हेन इट कम्स टू इनोवेशन एंड एम्पैथी।
I completely understand why you are asking this question, because every time you read an article on innovation or maybe attending any lectures, any thought leaders, that what innovation requires, which more about like knowledge than accountability, ownership, and everything. And like I said, so one thing is very sure that without innovation, it is very difficult for any business to survive, irrespective of any industry. So innovation is something that keeps you not just motivates your team, but also keep your competitors out, or maybe limit your competitors.
बिल्कुल।
So I think balancing these uh, should have a clear purpose in your life. So a lot of people get confused or maybe are not successful while they are innovating in terms of keeping either empathy with their client or maybe their team, is because the purpose of the leadership is not that clear. A lot of time, so I take an example. Let's say innovation requires to achieve several things within the stipulated time period. And at that point of time, either you try to be more of an, tactical leader, right? Where you wanted to take some hard decision if you are not guiding there. But the way I take it is that there is a problem, right? It's not something that it's a problem of a client, it's a problem of your team. When you decided to work together, it's our problem. Obviously, there has to be an ownership, accountability when you work with people, right? But there are ways to solve that, right? So what I do in my daily life is that I used to sit with my sales team member. We have quarters that we won't achieve the targets and everything, but we don't have a culture where if you don't achieve the target, you are being fired, right? 3 months we sit down together and we try to fix what is the problem. That could be a problem going through his personal life. That could be a problem where he has a problem within the organization with some of his leadership or reporting person or somebody whom reports to him, right? So I try and figure out what's the problem, because I believe that when there is no problem around, people can perform. Everybody is talented. Everybody wanted to work hard. It's just that those external factors that empower. So I practice empathy in terms of when it comes to my team member, is that to try and listen to them, right? And use my own knowledge, the data that I have, and share it with them and let them make a decision. But I've seen that it works, not for immediate month, but in a longer term, I have seen that it actually sum up the results. So let's say they might not be able to achieve the quarterly target, but if I look at from the yearly target, they are pretty much going there. So that was on the target. When it comes to the client side of it, you have a contracts that you get into, when you are working on any of these new startup that we work with and kind of thing. But we don't just stick to the contracts. We see the relationship that we've built over the period. So I think with client, it's more you look forward the relationship rather than just कि भाई ये स्कोप में था और ये नहीं था वगैरह वगैरह. So I think that empathetic relationship has resulted in a way that client remains loyal with us. Also, they refer a lot of people, a lot of clients for. So I hardly think that we have to do an advertisement for our own services that we provide. It's more of a referral business, and that comes practicing your empathy in the business that you do with client and maybe with your team members. So that's how I usually. It's all about sitting together, listening each other, trying to understand each other, and then probably come to a mutually beneficial way, figure it out, and put that as an action item and measure that particular result. That's how I work.
Super. एंड कंदर भाई, आपने बताया कि एक एम्प्लॉय से ये जर्नी स्टार्ट हुई थी और अभी 150 प्लस लोगों की टीम है आपके पास, है ना? तो टीम बिल्डिंग जो है वो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एक चीज होती है इसमें। तो टीम बिल्डिंग की जब आप बात करते हो या टीम बिल्ड करते हो, तो क्या क्या वैल्यूज जो है उसको सबसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस देते हैं?
So, honestly speaking, initially when I built this team up to 50 people, I was the one that used to do the all human resource related activities and make sure that we add right people to the team. And then I think from 50 to 120 or something, I used to be, involved, not involved kind of, so very indisciplined way of doing it. But I think since last 3 years, what I have figured it out that any leader in an organization should always be a part of the hiring process, right? Because the leaders has the clear vision about how they wanted to build the culture of an organization. Adding right people in the team is always important, and we evaluate or maybe we have people on 4 core values that we have defined. It's not just to show to the people in our sales deck or maybe on the website, but that's something that we live on our day-to-day life. And we call it IQRT, and I stands for integrity part,
Okay.
which is very important in any business. So while building this team, we always make sure that integrity is not an issue. And we made a hiring mistake. It's not that we never had a team member who do not have an integrity issue. But the moment we realized that this is an integrity issue, we never give a priority to money or maybe any positions, right? Irrespective of how long you have been associated with organization, how much money you are generating for an organization, that doesn't matter if you have an integrity issue. So that's one of the things that we always look for. Quality is something. So everybody do not have the understanding about the quality from day one. All we need is that positive attitude about doing it. Are they ready to provide a quality services? And that's where I think we focus. So we have systems and processes that can probably train them to provide a quality services. But what if the person themselves are not a big believer of that? So when we interview people, when I sit with the interview, I usually don't ask that question. A lot of people say that कि मेरा टेक्निकल इंटरव्यू तो हुआ ही नहीं, आप मुझे डेवलपर की तरह हायर कर रहे हो, आपने कोई कोडिंग के रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन नहीं किया. And I said that I think that can be always trained skills, right? But I think something that your attitude towards the quality is something that you better with your birth, right? And I think that's what I try to better with. Then, like I said, when it comes to the relationship, it's not about anybody whom we meet. We believe that it's our extended family. So you have your core family, your father, mother, and your wife and kids, and then you have another family that is where you meet them, you do maybe some work with them. But I think and that's where I think relationship should be given a more priority over anything else. So we always try to see that what relationship means to that person. Okay? And then obviously transparency is the core. I would say that अगर गलती हुई भी है, then I don't think so people will find out. They are proud to tell कि हमने आज ये गलत किया. They have always been trained कि आपको एक गलती दोबारा नहीं करनी है, आपको 100 गलती करने की छूट है. So I think that transparency part. So when I hired these people from 1 to 150 people, we always make sure this 4 core values are always there. It's not just for hiring. It's also for whenever we are renewing the contract with the team members. So I think any business that wanted to be stable in terms of their hiring process and growth, where आपको 150 में से 100 नहीं होना पड़ रहा है, 100 में से 200 नहीं होना पड़ रहा है. So that kind of thing. So typical in IT, the turnover ratio for an employee is considered to be 6 to 12 months. Like person will change the job. In Zealous Web, we have an analysis of the data, and I think it's typically 3 years that person would stay with us. Today, we have a team members who are with us for since I started, right, which almost 19, 20 years now. And we have around 10 plus people who has surpassed 10 years. We have a 20 plus people who has more than with us for 5 plus years. So I think that relationship, transparency, integrity, quality, that keeps you going on both the sides. And it's not just the win of the owner. It's a win for an employee as well. That to stay.
But the formula is IQRT.
Yeah.
Integrity, quality, relationship, and transparency.
That's the formula.
सुपर, थैंक यू। कंदर भाई, आपके लिए सक्सेस का मतलब सिर्फ प्रॉफिट है या कुछ और भी?
I would say that definitely one of the thing is the profit, but not the only thing. So we are in a business. We are trying to solve unsolved problems, right? And that's our tagline: solving the unsolved.
Right.
Now, in order to do this, you need to have a sustainability when it comes to solving the problem, because those problems are not being solved because that requires a lot of energy, a lot of time, or maybe a lot of hard work, right? And that's where if you are not profitable, you won't be able to sustain in the particular business. So when it comes to a decision-making process, whether to do this or not, I try and do a rational thinking on that, wherein if company is not profitable, they will not be able to keep their clients happy. They won't be able to keep their employees happy, because every year they need a good pay raise.
Absolutely.
You need to be at least industry's average pay person or company. अगर आप profitable नहीं हो, तो you won't be able to get into the problems that clients are facing. So let's say tomorrow you ask your client, what are your problems, what you wanted to solve, and once you hear those problems, you will feel like कि भी इतने problem को solve करने के लिए तो I think I might need to invest some money from my own pocket. Now, even if you know that I will solve the problem and this client is going to be with me for the rest of his life, you still need that money which client doesn't have, right? So a lot of time when we get into the discussions about what should be the budget for digital transformation and all, and I always say that what is the minimum you can spend, right? And we try and customize the solution that gives them an age where they can continue to invest and sustain in the market. So profit is one of the thing in the thing. But when I say it's not the only thing, is because a lot of time when we see that by not considering the profitability in a particular case, we are not going to lose anything, but giving importance to the profit may hamper the business culture, the life that you live within the organization. At that point of time, I think that we make sure that we believe giving like human values. That's what is in the center. And when I say human, it's not only our team, it's our clients as well. So I think that is important kind of thing. किसी ने बहुत बढ़िया ऐसा बताया था कि if you wanted to know how good person you are, आपकी स्मशान के अंदर कितने लोग आते हैं, that defines that particular thing. So it's not your birthday party where you invite people, but it's when where you do not invite, and how many people comes to say goodbye to you. तो वो तभी आता है जब आपने सिर्फ पैसों को या प्रॉफिट को इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दिया है. You have given an importance to the relationship. You have given importance to the that human values. कितनी लोगों को मदद की है आपने, कितने लोगों की लाइफ में चेंज लाया है आपने. I think that is a definition to the success. But yeah, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि profitable नहीं होना है, because in order to sustain it, so it's balance for me in terms of.
So कंदर भाई, जीलस वेब के थ्रू आप कम्युनिटी पे क्या इम्पैक्ट देखना चाहते हो, या फिर कम्युनिटी पे क्या इम्पैक्ट लाना चाहते हो?
So I think when I talk about Gilles Web after 20 years of my own uh, data that I have researched, whom we have worked with, the kind of different individuals, bigger organization, and we see that where we make the biggest difference. Because for a few people we are just a supplier, for a few people we are the way or maybe motivation. For a few people we are maybe just a business partner. So after doing this, we have found that I think the community that we wanted to make an impact is those small businesses that has a potential to grow, has desire to grow, because few people has a potential but they don't have a desire.
Right.
So the potentiality and the desire to grow is something that community we wanted to work with, and that's where I think there are few issues about the kind of team that they have. The smaller team doesn't have a variety of experience, which is where we wanted to, in terms of digital transformation. So we wanted to bring that in. They don't have a lot of budget, right? They probably have a smaller budget, strip budget. So we wanted to work within that budget to make sure that we bring some revenue for them there, so that they can continue to invest more and go bigger. So community की बात करें तो I think we wanted to not just work with larger organizations. Obviously, it's good to have a high ticket clients because that also gives you a learning opportunity, because they will have been so much demanding that you have to be on always on your toes. So that is also a kind of thing. But our major focus after having this experience is that to help community, which is small and medium businesses that wanted to grow and have a desire to become a larger organization.
सुपर। और कंदर भाई, अगर आपकी पर्सनल लाइफ में जो इम्पैक्ट आया है उसकी बात करें तो व्हाट इज दैट बुक, और कोई स्टोरी या फिर कोई एक पर्टिकुलर कोट ने आपको आपकी लाइफ को इम्पैक्ट किया हो?
I think I have been reading books since 2018, and that's the only mistake that I have done in my entire life, because I think books is something that I believe that is non-biased opinion.
True.
Book doesn't know who is going to read this. So it's non-manipulated kind of thing, and it has an experience of so many of years with different cultures, working with different characters. But if I have to tell you one book that has changed the way I've been thinking for last 5 years now, is the book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And he is my, I would say that, considered as a mentor as well. I blindly follow him, the leadership style that he has been talking about. But I think that's where I have found the purpose of my life. And I would recommend that anybody, not just for the entrepreneurs, I would say that students, maybe any freshers, any experienced professional, I think I have found people died without knowing the purpose of their life, right? That they don't know why they exist. And this book, he has tried to explain with so many of examples that people will be convinced and will be able. So I think I would recommend that book. But apart from this, there are many leadership books that I read about that would be good for the thing. And I think we can give that list of books to the people in maybe.
Absolutely. Even we can, yes, we can add in description. Okay. So you have talked about the books which you are reading. Okay. Apart from books, what are the other hobbies और अदर एक्टिविटीज विच यू आर डूइंग कि जब आप काम नहीं करते हो, या फिर अगर हम वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस की बात करें तो व्हाट आर द अदर हॉबीज एंड एक्टिविटीज यू हैव?
ये गलत क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया है, क्योंकि इट प्रोबेबली टेक अनदर 1 hour टू आंसर, बट आई विल ट्राई टू बिकॉज आई एम अ काइंड ऑफ अ पर्सन जो हमेशा व्हाट्स नेक्स्ट सोचता रहता है. सो आई एम लिविंग इन प्रेजेंट, but those hai. So as far as the hobbies is concerned, initially it was just cooking, right? So I really cook at home on the weekends. Also, when my wife is not at home and I have to prepare breakfast for the kids to go to the school, so I pretty much do that. There are occasions where we invite 20 people and the dinner is prepared by me, which is not at all a risk. So I am very much fond of cooking. then I think obviously when you are an Indian, cricket is something if you are not passionate about kind of thing. So in the sports, I used to play cricket when I was kid, but even after that, from like 30 to the 45 of the age right now, I play most of the tournaments in which is our caste or maybe from the industry and kind of thing. And I think we play on alternate weekends by having the count. So I keep myself busy with some sporting activities. तो वहाँ पे I would say the sports is the another hobby. My wife is a really good singer, karaoke singer, and she always need to practice with a male duet songs. So one day she said, I need your support. You have to sing with me because I have to rehearse this. And I started singing with her, and she said that, hey, I think you should also sing as well. And this journey started, I think, 8 years back. So now we have a good karaoke system at our house. And I think now I'm become जिसको सहन कर पाए इस टाइप का कैरियोके सिंगर बिकॉज एवरीबडी सिंग्स नाउ
राइट
बट तो ये तो आजकल हम स्टूडियो में भी जाते हैं वी बुक द स्टूडियो द
क्या
ग्रुप
बात
ऑफ पीपल एंड वी हैव फ्यू पीपल हु आर नॉट जस्ट द सिंगर्स बट ऑल्सो द ऑडियंस एज वेल तो सिंगिंग इज माई हॉबी so that's another thing. So cooking, sports with cricket or singing, these are the three things that I always keep myself busy when I have a time to relax. And I think these three things always makes me happy and no stress around.
बिल्कुल. और कंदर भाई, आई एम श्योर आपने लाइफ में बहुत सारी चीज़ें सीखी है और बहुत सारी चीज़ें एक्सपीरियंस करी है. तो अगर मैं आपको बोलूँ कि जो यूथ है, जो यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स है, उनको आपको एक एक टिप के हिसाब से आपको एक मैसेज देना हो कि सबसे पहले आपको ये चीज़ सीखनी चाहिए, तो वो क्या होगा?
I would say if somebody has to learn it to respect the counterpart, because a lot of time what we make a mistake in our life is that we do not respect the counterpart, and वो respect शुरू होता है by listening to someone. Because a lot of time when you listen to someone and when you try to put yourself in the person who is speaking, you suddenly started agreeing to those people. Once you start agreeing, you will also try and utilize your thinking process, your knowledge, your advice in a way that is practical for them. So I would say that start respecting the others. So that's my advice to the youth, because a lot of time I have made this mistake when I was young, where I was thinking that I am the person that knows everything, and now at the age of 45, I believe that I am the only person that has still to learn a lot of things, right? So I would say start respecting.
So respecting and art of listening.
Yeah.
इसके अलावा अगर आपको एक और मैसेज देना हो यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को, तो वो मैसेज क्या होगा?
I would again go back to my original thing that I realized is that find a purpose of your life. And that makes every decision that you make in your life, there is always going to be a counter argument to this. Why this and why not this? And at that point of time, you need a support from within, where you made a decision and this is right decision. Why? Because your life purpose is this. So I would say that it's not easy, right, to find the purpose of the life. But when you yourself decide that, I think you don't need external motivation to drive you.
Absolutely.
So I think that's what the most important. A lot of successful people, if you go back and ask them why they are successful, always they will say that one day they found the purpose of their life and now they are living that purpose. So I would say that try and figure it out. Whomsoever, maybe it's your friend, it's your parent, it's your colleague, anyone who helps you finding your purpose of your life, just go out there and do that. I think that will make a huge impact in what you are today and what you will be in the future.
Absolutely. Kandarpbhai, now we are coming to the almost the end of this particular talk, and before we end, let us have one rapid fire round. एंड इसको एक गेम की तरह खेलते हैं. एंड आपको जो एक सीधा सवाल उसका सीधा जवाब, ठीक है, वो एंगल से आपको प्रॉम्प्ट आंसर देना है, ठीक है. सो शैल वी स्टार्ट?
यस.
ओके. अब थोड़ा माहौल हल्का करते हैं एक रैपिड फायर राउंड से. एक वर्ड जो आपको डिफाइन करता है.
ऑप्टिमिज्म.
ओके. ऑफिस या क्रिकेट ग्राउंड, फेवरेट बैटलफील्ड.
क्रिकेट ग्राउंड, क्योंकि ऑफिस में तो हम खुद की कंपटीशन है.
अर्ली मॉर्निंग योगा या लेट नाइट ऑडियो बुक्स.
लेट नाइट ऑडियो बुक्स.
कोई एक चीज जिसके बिना आप दिन नहीं गुजारेंगे.
पॉजिटिविटी.
आपका ड्रीम ट्रैवल डेस्टिनेशन.
स्विट्जरलैंड.
Alright. Thank you so much, Kandarpbhai. It was indeed a great talk. We have talked about empathy. We have talked about, एक word में आपको बताऊँ तो who will cry when you will die, right? Kind of thing. And we have also talked about lot of your hobbies, the entire journey, and I'm sure this will be an inspiration for a lot of viewers, lot of entrepreneurs, or especially the young people, those who are watching this particular show. Thank you so much.
For having me here.
Thank you so much, Kandarp. Chalo, thank you.